That's what's going on. What we're seeing right now is a complete attack on everything black. They have looked at our progress over the last 60 years. They've looked at our progress since we talked about from the civil rights movement, and they are going after it all. They are attacking it all. And if we don't respond the way we should respond, we're going to see more gains lost. And that means that our children and our children's children are going to be living in America that is whiter, that it has less power than this generation. That simply cannot continue. It's simply.
Okay, all praises to the Most High in Christ. We are here. Just want to bring some points out to what he just said. The theme, that's the theme of my talk today, is that we are living in America, and they are going to. This is his claim, that the white America, over the next 60 years or the next years in the future, we're gonna be the less than the minority. We're already the bottom of the totem pole. We're already supposed to be the minority, less than any other demographic group in North America. So we understand that these people have no idea of what the future holds. We can just say that right now. Based on prophecy, based on what we see in the Bible, we know that they cannot predict the future. Okay? Because if they could predict the future, let me just put it like this. If the white race and the black media, the black regime media, you got the black regime media too, the people who believe that we have to hold on to their system of voting and giving them jurisdiction over our lives in order for black, so-called, they still call us black, in order for the indigenous people, the copper tone people of this land, to make it. We have to hold on to their system, right? That's what they've been selling us. That's what they've been selling us, for 200 years. Since they've been in government, they just celebrated 250 years of them having forced jurisdiction over us, telling us we're free, but forcing us into their courts, into their government, into their citizenship. They've been acting as our government. Well, we know that the reason that is because our people, the indigenous people who are the northern kingdom of Israel, along with the southern kingdom, and we cover North, South, and North, Central, and South Americas, the Caribbeans. We're scattered all over those particular. I'm talking about here in Babylon. We're scattered all over. But the prophecy says that in the last days, when we begin to wake up, and the Most High begin to bring us together from those places that He has scattered us, at the same time, He's going to be bringing their kingdom down, because two ruling kingdoms can't exist at the same time, right? They've proven that to us. We were sovereign here. They came in our house, in our land, destroyed everything, took our resources, and forced us to obey them, taking our freedom by violence and gunpoint. Propaganda, violence. Anywhere you hurt a person, that's violence. Whenever you hurt a person, that's violence. They stole our identity. They stole our resources, our inheritance. They stole it all and destroyed what they could to keep us from building ourselves back up again. But in the last days, the prophecy is that we're going to be like the sands of the sea. And we heard what Roland just said. We're going to look at the first part of his video here. Okay, so they started off what Roland is promoting now, and all these uh, flunky news reporters who've been paid off, the Democrat system, the people who are agents for white supremacy, but posing as uh, sympathetic to the indigenous people of this land. But we know who they are, and they're not for us because they're still calling us by our slave names. They haven't given us our identity back. But, they refuse to. They, along with white supremacy, the people acting as government, who has stolen everything from us, they're still supporting that crime by calling us by our slave names, the names that the thieves gave us. When they replaced us, they took our heritage. These people, if they don't call us by our true identity, then they are still part of the syndicate. Everybody that's calling us black, who know who we are, everybody who know who we are that's calling us by words, black, Afro-Americans, Negro, colored, and saying we should vote to keep their systems, to keep their democratic, so-called democratic system, they're not democratic, you know that, going and remain as their slaves. When we vote for them, we consent to them being our government. We are sovereign. But these people who keep, insisting that we go along with the program that's set up are our enemies. Roland Martin. Let's listen to something he's saying. This is what his complaint started out being.
And more white on Donald Trump. I told y'all my book, White Fear. That's what this is about. This is all about attacking black people. They do not want to see African Americans promoted in this administration, in this country. This is undeniable, pure racism, Avis. Okay.
Okay, Avis is not there. I thought she was gonna say something, but you see his you see the direction he's trying to take us. He's steady complaining. His complaint is that they don't want to recognize us and treat us right, right? They're demoting us from their system, and that's exactly what they should be doing. That he knows it, but they have told him to play good cop. We're going to demote them and take everything away from them, and you go out and complain to keep them from building up their communities again. You see what I mean? You say, well, we build our communities first and they tore them down. Why do they want us to go out and and get rid of us? See, here's the thing why they are playing this good cop bad cop down the rabbit hole up the other side is because we have came away from their voting system. Their voting system was set in place to keep us voting, trying to figure out who would be the best slave master to rule over us. I think I heard Ice Cube say that one time. But it's the real deal. Their Democrat, Republican, and religious system, political and religious system is set up to take us our mind off of what we should be doing. And that is building our own nation, coming back to our own identity, getting our own identity back. That's the main thing. They're set up to stop us from getting our own identity back. Because when we get our identity back, we self-identify, then we'll go back and see what our ancestors' culture was, what their itinerary was, and where they went wrong at, and we'll find out how we got in the condition we're in. So, and we know all of that is in the Bible. We are the Israelites. We left our state. We left our high state above all the nations to come down and be a part of the nations because we thought we'd get more pleasure sinning and satisfying our bodies, our flesh, you know, like the nations were doing. They didn't have a God, they didn't have a law, they didn't have nobody to answer to. They could do whatever they want to. The lust, satisfy the lust of their flesh, and they didn't have to answer to nobody. They wasn't getting chastised. Christianity said you didn't have to keep the law. They're not getting chastised for not obeying God. So, when they made us forget who we are, then we forgot that we are the ones getting punished. He said, I will punish you because I've only known. You have I only known. You have I only knew. Therefore, I will punish you. He don't know them. He's not punishing them for not keeping the law. So that's why we couldn't build our communities up. But if you go through and look at read Deuteronomy 5th chapter through the 8th chapter, you'll see God's biggest fear for us is that when we got in plenty, when we got in the land of plenty, that we would forget him and forget how we got there and forget he's the one that we have a covenant with, and we have to keep our part of the covenant. That means keep the law and teach our children to keep the law if we want to be blessed on this earth. And if we didn't, and we turn from him, then he will allow our enemies, who are the devils, they are the devils. He made them the devils. He know what he made them to do. He will allow us to be given over to our own devices, which is to the pig pen, the bottom of the pig pen. When we give them charge over us, when we follow them, we're going to follow them right into an ambush where they can take and lock us down and then start ruling the earth. Because they can't rule the earth if we're out there sitting in our judgment seats. And if we have our own armies and own security and own laws, our laws, enforcing them to keep the laws, and that's what's going to happen. That's what Christ's kingdom is going to be like. We're going to force the nations to bow down and keep the laws of the Most High God, what they hate now. So I ain't going to hold you, but I do want to say this. The Israelites camps are getting on board because, they thought they knew what they were talking about. They thought the Most High God was going to use them, and if we didn't come to their camps, then we were all going to be destroyed. But I thank God because he had a better plan. And just like these guys here, going to fall with Babylon. There's a whole lot of people going to fall with Babylon, but the Most High raised up the rocks. I put it like that. He's raised up the rocks to do his bidding. Who will stand with me against the evildoers? Well, we know our camps were afraid, They did their job and, they preached the law, and now to hell with all y'all. No, that ain't what the Most High said. He said, all Israel shall be saved. He said he bent Judah like a bow and shot Ephraim, the northern kingdom. The majority of the northern kingdom is black. Now, we do have some mulattoes in there with the Israelite blood, right? But the people we're gathering up, not me, but the people that the Israelite camps are gathering up, they are not northern kingdom. The white mulattoes are saying me no black. They look like Orientals and Spanish people. And they're telling you they know who their father is. Not them, but you have some mulattoes who are going to hear the word of God if they surrender to the Most High, his will. But there's a whole lot of our mulatto Israelites that won't surrender either. They're going to be a part of the 2/3. So we can't really pick them out. We have to let the Lord do it. But we know when we go out, we're supposed to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We can tell who they are, right? We can easily tell who they are because they're in the lands where they were scattered to, and they look like us, right? Now, the wheat, the tare, they could be wheat. The people who look like tares, the mulatto people who have Israelite fathers, they look like tare. We can't look at them and tell if they're Israelites or not. But we know they're tare. But we can look at the Israelites and say, you're Israelite. We can come to you because you're the lost sheep. And if they hear the word, if they have ears to hear, then that's fine. But if they don't, then they're gonna be lost too. But we're supposed to go to the lost sheep. So the reason why we see TikTok and all our black sisters and black brothers, some of them, going in so hard is because the Most High has commissioned them to do what our men, the camps, and their women are afraid to do. Because I don't know why. It could be fear that they'll lose their position, which they will lose, because you see, it's so the zeal to build the nation is in the hands of the northern kingdom, in the mind of the northern kingdom. And it started with the little Chinaman and the death of the poor young brother. It starts with the Chinaman making a video saying how bad we need them. And it stirred up something in our sisters and brothers to say, we don't need y'all. We're going to prove it to you. We're going to build our own nation up. Now, you say, well, if they build it without God, it ain't going to work. Well, the Most High can use who he wants to pick a hammer and some nails up and build what he wants to build. Everybody that's building, or not the 2/3, everybody that's going to participate in these boycotts and building these businesses, they might not get the message that, I'm pretty sure they know who they are now. The people that will come and start building, they know they're Israelites. Now the rest, they're going to keep using drugs. They're going to keep doing what they're doing to destroy the nation. They're not going to come and help build. They're not going to get businesses. They can't think. They can't think right now. They're going to keep chasing pleasure. Keep getting those dopamine shots, chasing those dopamine shots, right? So I can pretty much, I think that the people who's thinking, let's build our own nation, let's build our own infrastructure, and come together and help each other, support each other, so we can survive. Because the enemy has surrounded us, and they, like Roland Martin said, they're doing everything they can to take the resources out of our way, out of our reach. But the Most High God, we don't need their resources. That's my main point for doing this video. We don't need what they have. We left Egypt and went out into the wilderness, and the Lord took care of us. We have to do the same thing now, and have faith that the Most High will deliver us out of Egypt and into our promised land. And we don't have to worry about the enemies, because as we believe them, they're going to be destroyed. We're going to look back and see them being destroyed. Look at Egypt today, destroyed. The nations are being destroyed right now with the plagues, because they blocked the way for us to return to the Most High God with their psychological, economical, military tactics to keep us from coming back to the Most High God. They used everything, eugenics, everything, and if they can't stop us from returning to the Most High, turning away from them, they're going to try to destroy us. And the Most High is going to let them pursue us so we can see him take them down. Like the Red Sea closed up on them. Yeah, they're going to pursue us. Roland Martin, he's scared to death. Look at his eyes. He's frightened. Yeah, they're going to pursue us because they can't make it without us. You think they can build those pyramids and everything? You think they can get out and work in that hot sun? No, they can't do it. They don't have the melanin in their body to even cause them to think right. Inventional. They can't invent anything. They can't sustain what we have already invented and left them with. We're going to go to the wilderness and leave them with all those inventions. And they're not going to be able to sustain them. They're going to fight like I'm going to do some lives and show you what kind of people they were before they came pursued us. They pursued each other. They pursued hierarchy over each other. They pursued being emperors and rulers over each other at all costs with the nature of the beast. So they're not going to be able to be civilized. They won't have us there to think for them anymore. You know, civil rights and us saying, telling them what was right and wrong, it held them together to look civilized and gave them, the understanding of what humanity is. They didn't know. The nations didn't know, and the leaders of the nations, the wicked, the border of wickedness, the Esau and white supremacy, they don't know how to live among each other in peace and harmony. They would have been and destroyed each other if we wasn't in there dividing them and keep bringing them back to what was right according to how to treat humans. They don't know. They don't have a conscience to do that. So we kept their conscience intact. By us, they watched us, and we kept the standard up, the godly standard up, to keep them from destroying themselves until now. So that's what's going to happen. So all praises to the Most High. Let's see.
This is why I don't have any energy, are not responding in the way we should be responding. A lot of us are not as pissed off as we should be pissed off. Okay? I can't expand. Yeah, well,
We're not responding. We are responding exactly how we should be responding, not responding. We don't have to respond to them because we are not concerned with them, Roland. We don't need them to survive. We've taken our mind off of them as far as being the people who have everything we need. Like, we gotta go to Esau for everything. No, we don't. The Most High, that lets you know that the camps, they are kind of a little slow behind. They catching up, but we don't have to go to Esau for everything. When we're leaving Egypt, why would we keep going? Well, let's go back to Egypt and get some olives. Can we take some of them olives with us? No, we don't have to go back. Y'all, can we get some of them poison blankets? No. The water's poison. The food is poison. What do we need them for? They are running us out. They're taking everything and shooting darks at us, throwing darks at us. Get out. Come, leave their government alone. They can't put us off the earth. They can't stop us from surviving, but they can tell you to get away from them, and that's what we're doing. We don't have to go and depend on them for anything else. We don't have to be mad at them. That's the thing. Stop being mad at them. We should even, you guys are taking those TikTok videos that they're making and using them for props and examples of how they're thinking. Well, keep doing that. But we shouldn't give them the time of day. We should avoid them like we don't even hear them talking. Watch them, but don't promote them. Don't promote their stupid thinking. Watch them, but don't give a feedback on them. If you do, put it in code. Let them have to figure it out, what we thinking. Or just, gas, because all they're doing is gaslighting, trying to gaslight you because that's all they have left. When you take their income away from them, take your income away from them, I said their income, that's how they look at it, then they don't have anything else they can get from us. Because that's all they wanted. They wanted our income and gaslight us to keep looking for them to validate us. We don't need your validation. Your money really is no good. We need to come back to the Most High God, and He will supply us and provide us with everything we need. And you guys who say the Most High God don't hear us. He's not real. The sky daddy. Y'all government is the God. Let's see y'all make it. Let's see y'all make it after he take us away. After he move us out, let's see what you're gonna do. Cause you're not gonna have our blessings. We're not gonna be able to keep you lined up with logical and reasoning. You're not gonna have the reasoning and the logic of God, of God's creatures, of God's judges and kings and queens on earth. We're not gonna keep y'all in line with what's right and wrong. So, we're gonna see what y'all gonna do. You're gonna do the same thing you did before you had us to guide you. You're gonna tear each other apart. Like you're doing now, like you've been doing ever since you've been in rulership. You are the border of wickedness. All praises to the Most High.